There's definitely a general consensus that, you know, as an academic city, that this place is very liberal and open-minded, and because of that, people are quite naive to the fact that you can still experience, you know, explicit forms of oppressive behaviour or microaggressions or plainly racist comments made towards you.
I've been involved in different kinds of activism in Cambridge, and throughout I've encountered this idea that you're in a very you know, privileged position. Why do you care about this kind of oppression? You haven't experienced it. You're at Cambridge, get over it. I think that's, like, in summary, the opinion of, like, quite a lot of people.
People constantly question your lived experience. There's always someone that will start questioning this person that has a point and has written about something that they felt and they'll bring in some kind of analogy of something, and it's not the same, and it just makes you really cross to be like, why? Well, if someone's telling you that they've done this, like, it's not your job to just like interrogate them on it or tell them they're wrong for thinking that. You should do everything you can to accept it and try to understand where they're coming from.
One of the main things that makes a good ally is the ability to listen to somebody. So really, your job as an ally is to raise the voices of oppressed people and to speak up but not over. I think when people are being told about systems of oppression, they can get really defensive, especially if they don't understand how the extent to which they may be complicit in that system. And sometimes it might make you feel guilty to think, oh, I've been doing this thing that might cause a negative experience or have a negative effect on somebody else. But being an ally isn't about being defensive or arguing with someone. Try to understand that in a way history has robbed that person of their dignity and robbed the group that they belong to of their dignity. So you have to kind of be responsible for it.
A really important myth about, like, activism to do with race or just, like, any kind of black and ethnic minority solidarity is that it, like, only applies to people of colour.
When you're talking about race, you have to equally talk about whiteness.
Yeah.
You can't have one without the other. By saying, I don't see race, I just see the human race, you are literally erasing people's histories, people's experiences. The fact is that the world is divided by colour, and that's what we're fighting against. So to ignore that very existence, I think is really counterproductive.
So I think another job that an ally should have is to go away and do their own research. So if somebody calls you out and said you used ableist language, or what you said was really problematic in terms of gender or race, go away and read or watch a program or read an article. There's just so much information that you can't expect somebody else to educate you. It's not my job, it's not anybody else's job, it's yours.
For marginalised groups, I would also say be willing to accept help, and don't use this thing about check your privilege as a way to sort of occupy moral high ground and not allow different voices to come in. I think the whole point of solidarity and check your privilege together, they can work together, and I think the whole point of them is to allow marginalised voices to come in rather than silence existing voices.